What's up, guys? My name's Cody, and I'm back with another UFC My Favorite Bets. This is UFC 252 Stipe versus Cormier, the trilogy, and I always like to get in here right before the fights to just give off all my favorite bets and anything that I may not have touched on earlier in my earlier video before the weigh-ins and just earlier in the week in general. So, real quick before I get into my bets, I did want to say, man, Stipe. I've been slightly leaning Stipe, but I'm just so torn on that fight. That's why I decided instead of taking a Stipe or a Cormier, because I do kind of want to lean Stipe, but that small cage I feel like gives DC that edge. So what I did is I took, even though it is the small cage and it's two big heavyweights, I took the over 2.5, and I got that at minus 150 for the fight to last 2.5 rounds. And I just don't see one of them getting finished early. I think it's going to go into the later rounds. It could even go to the scorecards this time. Now, the small cage is going to hurt the chances of that, but it's still possible in my opinion. So that is a late bet that I made. And then moving a little bit forward, Marlin Vera and Sean O'Malley. People were saying Sean didn't look good on the scale. I thought he did. I didn't think. I mean, I won't say he looked good, but I didn't think he looked terrible. I mean, he's just a skinnier. That skinny, tall build is just. I mean, you think Connor looked worse than that when he was on the scales, man. Much worse. So, I mean, Marlon looked ready to go on the scales for sure, but I'm not. I know Marlon is a threat, but I wasn't as scared after the weigh-ins as some people. Rosenstruck, Dos Santos, loved how good Dos Santos looked. I'm happy with that bet. I'm liking him as an underdog still. I have Dos Anjos. I got him at plus 120. So I'm gonna like that. Moving into later today. Herbert Burns looked terrible. We know he missed weight. I think he missed 4 pounds. Didn't look good, but you always got to wonder, are these guys putting on a bit of an act when they miss weight like that because they don't want to look, they come up there all spry and ready to go looking great, and then everybody's like, okay, what did you clearly missed weight on purpose. So some of the times I swear these guys come up there like, oh man, it's been a rough one, when really they were like, oh, I'm fighting a finisher, this guy's only chance to finish me. Let me go ahead and not suck the water out of my brain real quick. Who knows? Conspiracy Eddie Bravo theory. He did look terrible. He even kept the shades on for the stare down. I might just be trying to make conspiracy. He might have just really had a terrible cut, but it's just always gets me sus when people miss weight by that much. John Dodson, Marabu looked just so much bigger. I mean, Dodson makes that weight cut easy. Even when he was cutting for 25, he always looks like he's having a great time at weigh-ins. He does his little. And he's just never wasn't worried about that. But Marab is looking big, much bigger and stronger. So I'm liking that small cage. I just hope he just wrestle fucks him. Jim Miller, Vince Pichel. I mean, I think it wasn't a surprise when Vince came in looking a lot better shape and just jacked and ready. Jim Miller never exactly comes in like phenomenal, insane shape. But hey, man, that's that peak dad bod, man. So I did, I just because these lines haven't really been moving a ton anyways, so I didn't beat myself up on it too much. But I did went ahead, and I've been so on the fence, man, and I've still been thinking about hedging my bet with a little Jim Miller, like maybe first round sub or first round finish or something, but I did take Vince Pichel at minus 122. I feel like if he can survive early, Jim will gas, and I think Pichel could easily win a decision. I won't say easily, but I think he wins the decision. Getting into this next fight, Felice, Herrick, Berna, Jandaro. Man, I went back and watched a lot of Jandaro fights, and I really don't see why this line is this large. I know Felice Herrick has a 2-year layoff, 2.5 years, something, and she's coming off that ACL tear, and surgery and all that, and that's serious. I get it, but plus 250 for the bigger, stronger, better wrestler. I talked to y'all last video to said that I might make this play, and after the weigh-in, even though I knew she was gonna come in looking phenomenal shape, the absolute second the weigh-in happened, I ran to my computer and hey, looks like I didn't need to because the line isn't going down. So looks like there'll be plenty of people to call me dumb if Verna wins. But I'm just lower level women's MMA. A girl, Verna Jandaroba, 1-1 in the UFC. She did hit some clean takedowns on Carla. I was impressed by her entries there. It wasn't just the jiu-jitsu. Like she had some nice takedowns, but at the same time, like almost 3-1 for somebody who has 1-1 in the UFC against somebody with all the experience, and even Felice's losses aren't just the top, but they're or at least like the upper level of the division. A lot of them are when they were at their peaks, So Felice fought a lot of those girls when they were at their best, and I mean, if this was a straight pick 'em, would I take Felice? No, of course not. But at plus 250 on Bet Online. All day, in my opinion. The bigger, stronger wrestler, she does throw a little bit more volume even, so it's like, if Verna isn't able to take her down easily, this could just become who throws more volume, like a lot of lower level MMA, women's MMA. So I went ahead and took Felice, and I like that pick. So Danny Chavez, TJ Brown. I did not make a bet on this yet. I did like Danny Chavez is a bit of a dog. I think this line. No, it's still. It did start. It started plus 185. So if you got on that, shout out to you, because this is a different scenario where it's like, even though I didn't think TJ looked terrible on the scales, when you have a near miss like that and you get the box out and all this, that makes me think more along the lines of, no, you really just botched a weight cut. It wasn't like a purposeful miss. So if you got Chavez at a almost 2-1 dog, shout out to you. That's legit. I'm probably going to lay off that because plus 120, plus 130 isn't like quite enough for me on that one to change my pick. And I liked TJ early on in the week, so small cage. Definitely willing to shoot those takedowns, so and typically land them. Danny Chavez looked great on the scales, which kind of tipped me over a little bit. I don't like to read into that a ton, but when one guy looks shit and one guy looks pretty great, it can be tipping. But getting to the next one, Ashley Yoda, Liviana Souza. I like Souza here, but her lack of volume and just the fact that Ashley's got a decent size advantage here, and just like I said, it is lower level women's MMA, decent size advantage, not super easy to take down, and then you got Souza, who doesn't throw a ton of volume. I just don't really like it at that number, so I'm gonna go ahead and lay off that one. Probably not even gonna touch it. Understand those who did take her or take Souza by finish or something, I get it, but it's just not for me. Chris Dawkins, see these early fights, man. These early fights, I love to play these early fights, but this is a sad card for me where I'm just gonna be taking some dabs and chilling, enjoying, because I didn't love these early fights to make a play. So this next one, Chris Dawkins, Parker Porter, two big sloppy heavyweights, and honestly, Chris Dawkins I like a little bit because he's just a more athletic, probably a little bit more technical, definitely the better striker. Parker Porter does throw bombs, but he's just, I feel like Chris Dawkins, if it stays on the feet, should be able to outland him and maybe even finish him. But Parker could land a bomb with that dirty boxing, and also like that small cage, two big old sloppy heavyweights. If he comes out there shooting or just finds his way to the ground, I have Parker Porter all day. So I'm just going to lay off that one too, man. I felt pressure to take that because I love to take these early fights, man, but I'm just going to lay off because, I just don't have enough of a read on that one yet, and I'm just not going to force myself to play it. So just going to chill on that one. And as far as the first fight of the night, this is a late edition. This was added I think early yesterday morning or late the night before. And Kai Kamaka, Tony Kelly. I had mentioned I was gonna take a look at Tony Kelly as a dog, but man, like honestly, the more like I looked into it, man, Kai Kamaka is pretty legit, and honestly, I mean the line's a little wide now, so it's like too late to get on it, but. Actually legitimately going to be watching like a couple more Tony Kelly fights when I get off here, and because I was a late addition and I was kind of focused on all these other fights first, but I'm gonna spend like my next couple hours, or the next hour watching the couple other fights that I didn't get to catch yet, and maybe be tweeting out a live play on that one. But I'm trying to find something I just haven't yet. I love playing the first fight of the night. But it's just, unfortunately this line's pretty wide, and unfortunately I'm leaning Kai Kamaka right now. But we'll see. I always tweet out my plays, and I always I'm going to be live on Twitch as always too with the fights. So both of those links for my Twitch and Twitter will be below if you want to check those out, and check my Twitter see if you got a play. Otherwise, come in and hang out with us on Twitch. We're going to be watching the fights and reacting live. I might be playing a little UFC 4 at the same time. Not during the fights, but, when between some of these fights, or if we get some quick knockouts and they got 30 minutes of filler or something. Otherwise, afterwards. But appreciate y'all watching. This ran a little bit longer than these little summarized videos I do. Just wanted to run through them a little bit quickly. Oh, no, we're pretty good. 11 minutes? Damn, I thought this felt like 20. But, yep. That's where we're at. So we got, real quick, I guess I'll run through them all since it's not as long as I thought I did. We got Junior Dos Santos at plus 120. And then we got Felice Herrick at plus 350. And we got Vince Pichel at minus 122. And we got Stipe DC, the over 2.5 at minus 150. And then we have two parlays. We have Marlin Sean O'Malley and Marabu, and we have Herbert Burns and Sean O'Malley. So those are my plays so far. I might do a little Hail Mary parlay. That'll be another thing I tweet. I might have a couple other little plays I have, but that's it for right now. Appreciate y'all coming through, and I do have a video where I got into some of these fights a little bit more. From a couple days ago, if you want like a longer breakdown. Enjoy the fights, y'all. Give me a sub below if you liked what you saw, or give me a like, comment, be like, I completely disagree, you're completely off on this fight, you don't know shite, whatever. Let me know what you think. We will be live on Twitch in a bit, so check me out there. Follow me on Twitter. Catch y'all there. Peace. I'll see you next week, man. It's been real as always.